Greetings and welcome to another excellent chess video. I had this end game that came up off of a blitz game, just a garbage, match. And I don't want that guy to be making, three, two, one, bang. Greetings and welcome to another excellent chess video. This is an end game that I played and I blocked the opponent's name to spare him his feelings. So that way it'll be a lot simpler if we're going to take care of this the old-fashioned way. Now I'm going to show you what happened here. This was, as you can see, an opposite colored bishop's endgame with a knight on each side. Now white has a clear advantage here. Even though the pawns are all on the color of the bishop, the problem is both bishops are tall pawns, essentially. So it's a knight endgame indirectly, and the king's ability to move is going to be huge because we are a pawn ahead. That's not worth much, but the fact that black's got a lesser space advantage is killing him. All right, so let's see what's going on here with the analysis. Okay, so he played king to d7, which looks like a fine move. The computer says knight e7 was better for him, so he could play knight to f5, which is, very good. So let's see what the story is here.
There was one good move, and you took your time finding it.
Yes, knight to h7 is the killer move. And the reason is white needs to get his knight to attack the h5 pawn. All right? So the only way to do that is you can see if we go back a move.
Only one move worked there, and this wasn't it.
The question was, my dad's rule, number 2, what's he trying to do to me? Well, sometimes you flip the coin, and it becomes, what am I trying to do to him? And that's the key that I ask myself. I go, where do I need to go? I need to get this h5 pawn. Notice my king blocks his bishop from defending that pawn. So the knight also is blocked because it can only defend it from f4, which is owned by the bishop and the king. So this is a position where white is winning this, and this was a 3-minute blitz game. You're winning this in the end game by squeezing black on his lack of mobility. So
there was one good move, and you took your time finding it.
Makes perfect sense because knight f6 is where I'm really going.
He's a very strong play.
Stop that. Now, one of the things I could do, if necessary, is trade knight for bishop down the road. But again, he has not stopped my plan. My plan, as you see, is just crushing at 0.329 or 3.
Your knight has a great outpost.
The knight f6 is just a crushing move.
A solid choice.
That does nothing. This is completely irrelevant.
You captured a free pawn.
Absolutely. Now I'm 2 pawns up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he's got 4.
This is the strongest option.
Yeah, he doesn't have any good moves. That's his problem. Now, a mistake for white is to play knight to f4, and then knight trades, and you get a opposite color bishop's endgame, which is basically just a worthless draw. So
you made that square a great outpost for a bishop.
The blunder to avoid was knight to f4, which I did. Again, what is it that I need to do? I need to cash in my mobility. I could trade knight for bishop with 2 pawns ahead. I will win bad bishop versus knight, no problem. His position is just rancid. And this is the key. There's plenty of mistakes that white can make in this endgame that cause it not to be a win.
This is a fair move.
This move is irrelevant. It does nothing. Because what's he trying to do to me? Well, he's trying to take my pawns and wreck my structure. What? As my father would say so famously when I was a kid. Oh, I see you have a light square bishop. I'll operate on the dark squares. Or, yes, you have a dark square bishop. I'm going to operate on the light squares. Well, this does nothing. I just simply take it.
This wins a pawn.
Yeah, I don't
Takes
want to win
back.
the pawn. Winning the pawn with c takes b4 is really irrelevant. It will not change anything, really. So I don't even worry about it. What's he going to do? Is he going to take me? I'll just retake. My pawn chain here is my key winning idea. I just want to get to the end game and trade pieces off. I've got this guy.
You missed an opportunity to tactically win a pawn.
Don't want that pawn. This is a mistake by the machine. The machine thinks like a robot, obviously. For a human, which is yourself or myself, this pawn on b4 is 100% irrelevant. Now, if you're Stockfish, or name your engine of choice, you're going to play perfect chess. I'm not Bobby Fischer, okay? And shocker, right? I'm not Bobby Fischer. I'm not Magnus. I'm not Gukesh, etc. It's irrelevant. Whether you take this pawn or not changes nothing. This position is a win for white. Don't get fancy, one of my father's rules. Fancy is c takes b4, because then he gets the weird stuff where he can play c3, opening up his bishop tactically at the end of the game. Horrible, horrible, horrible idea. Okay? You want to win a winning position however long it takes with the easiest win possible. Don't be complicated. C takes b4 under a time scramble. And right now my opponent has less than 1 minute. I have a minute and a half. In a time scramble, huge double question marks to play c takes b4. Strategically, it's not necessary, and tactically, it gives him a chance to play c3, sacrificing, getting his bishop active, making your win more difficult under time pressure. So, Chess Brain says, Sonny, leave the monster chain alone. It's winning the game for you.
This is an equal trade.
Yeah, good. Go ahead.
Recapturing.
Make my day. What's he got? I see the tallest pawn in the world right here on d5. That's what you should see. Now, I will win this game. I can literally just play knight takes bishop, and he's done. And that's, in fact, what I did.
This moves the bishop to a better location, allowing it to control more squares.
Yes, it doesn't do anything. He's completely irrelevant. Now, we need to kick this knight.
You kick the opposing knight with a pawn, forcing it away.
The reason why you kick this knight, he's got bad square options. Also, knights are notoriously bad against rook pawns queening. So you see I get a free ride to h6 guarded by the bishop and h7 guarded by the knight. He's got all kinds of problems. In a time scramble, he's in trouble. Bad.
This move puts the knight on a safer square.
I would have said knight e7 is also the correct move, because he's once again going to attack here on f5, which I can't really do anything about, but it's okay.
Yes, this is the way.
Again, you've got a light square bishop. I'm going to operate on the dark squares. I'm cashing this pawn on h5. That's what I'm.
One of the best moves.
Cash it. That does nothing. I can just go h6 and h7, and there's nothing you could do to stop it.
Good job. That's what I would have played too.
Now this move is here to stop this bishop from coming in, what have you. If he trades, bishop takes knight, king takes bishop, and then d5 is crushing for white.
That's fine.
Now, again, this bishop is under attack by this knight. So bishop takes knight wins a piece for him. So he's got a tactical threat. We must deal with this tactical threat. Again, as my father would say, what's he trying to do to me? I just showed you. Bishop takes knight, knight takes bishop, wins a piece for him.
That square is an excellent outpost for your knight.
Again, his super weakness. Here is e6. It makes this into a tall pawn.
This defends the attacked pawn.
But he's just losing.
Not the best move, but not bad either.
Yeah, bishop h6 is very strong, but again, look at the wall that I have created. There's no rush in playing bishop to h6. What does this move do for
This defends the attacked pawn.
Bishop to h6. He's going to play king h6. I mean, bishop f6 check. King, you can win a pawn. That doesn't really matter though. It just looks wrong. This goes, again, your chess engine that plays flawlessly can get away with bishop to f6 check. My father gave me the rule. Don't be fancy. Play the win that you see. And I see that I'm crushing this guy with this wall. And I'm taking my time. I'm going to maximize my forces. So, again, the computer's move, bishop f6, in a
Not the best
perfect
move, but
world
not
is
bad
perfect.
either.
I don't live in a perfect world. I live in the real world. Okay? And in the real world, I'm going to maul this guy with my superior mobility. What he's feeling here is this crushing sense of dread. And knight d7 is capitalizing on the crushing dread.
This permits the opponent to eventually win a pawn.
Okay, so I really kind of need, what do I need to do here? Well, I'd like to play knight to, I'd love to take that bishop number 1.
You missed an opportunity to eventually win a pawn.
Yeah, knight to b6 is what I thought. That's what I was feeling. But again, now this is under time pressure. At this moment, my opponent has less than 30 seconds. I have just under 50 seconds. All right. So I didn't play the best move, but I played a non-losing move to make sure that his time is continuing to dwindle. This is how you handle time pressure in games. I'm a very good in-game player, as you can see, strategically. And there's tricks that I know from playing speed chess at actual human chess club.
This overlooks an opportunity to increase a bishop's scope by moving it to a better square. This permits the opponent to take an outpost with a bishop. There is no stopping you from winning a pawn with the right follow-up.
Knight to b6 is really just threatening to play knight takes bishop. Pawn takes king f5, and that's all she wrote. This is an absolute winning endgame.
This moves the bishop to a better location, allowing it to control more squares. You missed an opportunity to capture a free pawn.
Yeah, did I really? I mean, I did. But if you look at this again,
this moves the bishop to a better location, allowing it to control more squares.
Great. But I'm under no pressure at all. Doesn't really matter. I've got this in the bag.
You missed an opportunity to capture a free pawn.
Don't screw up the game. Taking that pawn doesn't really make a difference one way or the other. It's actually, now my dad had a really, really clever mind. In his way, he would look at this and go, well, you could have taken that pawn. However, my dad had a killer phrase. He said, options, screw the man. So what happens is he's going to be magnetically drawn to playing bishop to d5 or bishop to d3, protecting this pawn, when this bishop of his is absolutely worthless.
This loses a bishop.
Magnetic suction.
This wins a bishop.
Crunch.
Takes back.
It's over. Even though this is a bishop and a mostly bad bishop, he can never play knight takes bishop because king takes knight is just one king and pawn endgame, 2 pawns up.
Very good choice.
This is just the obvious move. Do not get fancy. E6. Why would you break your pawn chain apart? He is under pressure. I am constricting him. Okay? He's feeling it, and it's really bogus. I'm telling you. I've been on the other end. It's not good.
A very strong play.
Yes, well, who cares? He is in Zugzwang like you wouldn't believe.
This is a fine move.
This move is the domination move. Notice the knight cannot play g5. The knight cannot play f6. The knight can play to f8. That's fine. But this is the natural move. I don't have a good move here. Let's go back.
A very strong play.
What I could play e6 check. That's actually a decent move, allowing me to get to king e5. E6 check is probably the best move if I'm here in tournament face where I have plenty of time to calculate. Under time pressure, you play simple, non-losing moves, he's basically in Zugzwang the entire endgame. Or he's either in actual Zugzwang or he's in quasi Zugzwang. Okay, that's the thing.
This is a fine move.
This is the move that's just keeping the sword of Damocles. This bishop is the sword of Damocles from the story. It's constantly hanging over his head. He's like, oh my God, you're such a jerk. I am.
Black's knight has moved to a square with greater activity and control.
Right, now he stops me from playing e6 check. That's fine.
Your opponent has to watch that passed pawn.
Or as my father would so famously say, what are you going to do now, Bobby Fischer? You can't govern everything. You can't. His king needs to get to g8 probably. And then e6 is crushing. You're just strangling this guy on the chessboard. This is why it was like, man, I got to show you guys this endgame, even though like now my opponent is just under 15 seconds and I have 28 seconds.
This permits the opponent to force eventual checkmate.
Yeah, he's annihilated here. He's, what's he trying to do to me? Simple. Knight takes free bishop. The killer moves, it's on the screen, but the killer move bishop to f6. It's just killer.
You missed an opportunity to force eventual checkmate.
I don't care. Look what this bishop does. Don't be distracted by perfection. Play the win that you see. And bishop f6 is a crushing move. This knight, where can this knight go? We can go to two squares. e7, I chop it off, or f8. What are you going to do, Bobby Fischer? If he goes to f8, bishop to g7. Come get some. All right? He's an absolute, he's an absolute Zugzwang. Or almost, he's in near Zugzwang.
This stops the opponent from being able. Well done, an excellent move.
And here's the move. This is what I calculated like this, okay? You can't fake this. This is Hikaru style. I played a Hikaru move. What are you going to do? You going to take it, Bobby Fischer? Well, you're not going to take it. If he plays knight takes pawn, h7, he cannot stop the... This is why bishop to f6 is a crushing move. Go back.
This permits the opponent to force eventual checkmate. You missed an opportunity to force eventual checkmate.
Wrong. It doesn't matter. I am following my father's rules. And these rules, as you see, make a difficult looking endgame go like child's play. You missed a chance to play an even better. Well, you know what? No, I saw this combo coming.
This stops the opponent from being able to force eventual checkmate.
Now, the machine sees far more than my mind can see. That's okay. I know how to play chess. I know how to win. I've won tournaments. The engine is great. The engine has won exactly 0 tournaments. Okay? This winning a tournament, not that the engine couldn't win a tournament, it could, but to win a chess tournament, at some point you're going to have to be close to winning a chess tournament and fail. Okay? And so that teaches you that there's ways to improve. To win a chess tournament means you have to see these possibilities better than everyone who showed up to play at that tournament, which is in itself an awesome feeling because there's usually some really good players there. All right. I've won chess tournaments against masters. Okay. Just that simple. And you don't do that by nitpicking and trying to play these crazy. Now, it's a time pressure situation, so that's why it's a little bit different. But I've got him crushed. E6 double exclamation.
Well done, an excellent move.
It's just crushing. What are you going to do now? King to e8? King to g8? Well, that doesn't help. Because then I'm going to hit him with e7. I've got king to g8. Heck, I can just go ahead and play king to e5 and just take the d pawn.
That was a free pawn.
That was a free pawn, yes. But look.
You are threatening to force eventual checkmate.
Crunch. It's crunch. What are you going to do now, Bobby Fischer? Now it says plus 0.709. I don't even know how that. I mean, I'm queening this pawn. Dude, it's just that simple. And here, my opponent ran out of time. But the thing is, what are you going to do? Oh, look. You can't even check. Well, he can check me. Okay. He can check me. And the easiest win is to just play bishop takes knight, abandoning this pawn because I'm going to have two center pawns. So if he goes knight G7 check, bishop takes knight, king takes, king E5, king takes my H7 pawn, king takes D5. The next move is king takes C4. Now I can't even lose on time. I could only get a draw. All right. And then I'm just going to cash these pawns. Boom, 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 boom. Don't be fancy. One of my dad's rules. And I wanted to show you guys this endgame because this is the kind of thing that separates the men from the boys. Yeah, you're winning. Well, I wasn't really winning by much, only in position if we go back. All right, let's go back. And it doesn't even look that great, to be honest.
This permits the opponent to have not the best move, but not this. That's square. That's fine. Good job. That's what one of the best. Yes. This move puts the knight on it. You kick the opposing knight with a. You missed an opportunity to tap. This wins a pawn. This is a. You made that square a great outpost for a bishop. This is a strong. You captured a solid choice. You're not a very strong. There was one good move, and you took your time finding it. Only one move worked there, and this wasn't it.
So this is the position. We played about 20-something moves or whatever it was in a very short amount of time. You cannot fake doing this. You look at this position objectively, you're like, you're a pawn up. 3, 4, 5, 6. He's got 5. But I have the tallest pawn, the tallest dark squared pawn you've ever seen, right? He's got a tall light squared pawn. His bishop is minusculely better than mine, but it has no targets. My bishop doesn't have a physical target, but it has these squares, H6 and H8, to queen this pawn. This is the bishop that guards the queening square of the H pawn. So, yes, it's a very bad bishop, but it's super powerful. You saw me put this dude on F6 and crush him with that bishop. And like I said, he was under tremendous pressure for a long time, many moves, and it gets to you. The concept of tension in the game of chess is that the sword of Damocles is a famous story. And in chess, you use the sword of Damocles, the dark squared bishop for white in this game, to crushing advantage by not second guessing yourself. And this is one of those things where I played in chess tournaments, human tournaments, not this online business. That's, the cheater fest of online chess is like, no thanks, bro. Not interested. I played real tournaments with real people because in the real world, mano a mano, man to man, face to face, you either have it or you don't. And hey, sometimes your opponent, has it better than you that day. That's part of the game. But I wanted to show this to you so you could see how it's executed. And it's, not something you would see generally in a book for a lesson because it's kind of a convoluted position. So hopefully this helped you. So thanks for watching the video. Tell your friends. I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to seeing you guys again in another video. And as always, like and subscribe.